What's up, everybody? I'm Dave Miranda, and this is episode 87 of Just Give Me 5. Hope you guys are doing great, continuing to be amazing. We got a really awesome show lined up for you today. But if you guys caught episode 86, you saw we had none other than the one and only Kim Quintero. And let me tell you, man, you know, Kim, she's made her way, her transition into politics now, but we all know her for being a meteorologist and a news broadcaster with 3 TV. She did it for many years. And just a joyful individual to be around. Had a really good time with her. Loved the stories that she shared. And, awesome times, man. So make sure you guys watch episode 86 and shout out to you, Kim. All right. But today's guest has been an absolute legend in not only the Arizona community, but the NBA world as well. We're going to talk about how he became a referee. We're also going to talk about his National Hispanic Basketball Classic tournaments that he throws. We're going to talk about some memorable moments and so much more. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you Tommy Nunez.
Hi, this is Tommy Nunez, and all I'm saying is, just give me 5. My Uncle Gus was a cop. He says, Tommy, you're not doing too well.
Yeah.
You're doing stuff, you're getting in trouble. Yeah. This, and this, and this. And he says, Tommy, you got to do something serious. He said, Uncle Gus, he's a cop. What do you want me to do? He says, I want you to join the military right now. 8 days later, I was on the way to Camp Pendleton to join the Marines at 17. Wow. 17 years old. Wow. And I used to tell players that during the height of a game. So I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm a former trained killer, former Marine. You need to be careful how you talk to me.
Yeah.
Because I'll send you packing real early. He said, yeah, Tommy, I know all about you in the Marines.
Right.
I grew up in the neighborhood, man. And a lot of my friends, a lot of them went to jail or they went here. I come from a neighborhood. It wasn't a nice place, but I loved every second of it. It's just amazing what can happen. Right. It's like a miracle. Right. We have priests, teachers that still contact us just to say hello. And said, Tommy, you're one of the biggest celebrities we ever kicked out of this school.
Yeah.
And we'd start laughing. He said, oh, Tommy, I don't know how you did it. They said, I know Jesus is like you. He said, don't say nothing.
Right.
When I was a young up-and-comer, I had a couple of cousins that were high school referees and worked local ball around here. Yeah. And they talked me into working some practice games with kids. I enjoyed it. I liked the people. I liked the players, and the kids were awesome. Yeah. And so I started working some games, preliminary games for kids. Okay. And the next thing I know, I was doing high school ball and junior college ball. I had some really good people looking out for one legendary referee, Daryl Garrison, who was one of the best of all time that ever refereed. Right. And he's the one that says, no, Tommy, we're gonna work with this, see what we can do with it. Because he moved here from Southern California, and we became the best of friends. Mm-hmm. And next thing I know, he says, look, we can play with this thing, Tommy. Just leave me alone, let me see what I can do. I said, and I'm thinking the whole time, I said, are you crazy? I don't want this, man. I do high school ball, man. I do junior college ball. I'm done. Right. And the next thing I know, I'm on the way to New York to a tryout camp. Wow. A lot of things were going on at the time. And that's when they were looking for black referees. And they also found a Mexican while they were looking around. Right. And the next thing I know, I'm invited to New York to a tryout camp and don't even know where I'm going. I ain't been East Globe, Arizona, man, in my life. And there I was heading for New York to a tryout with heavyweights. Yeah. And I'm thinking, I don't understand all of this, but I'll take a shot.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be good. They're going to be good to me. I'm going to eat good. I'm going to see the world that I've never been past the globe. And the next thing I know is okay, let's give it a shot. And that's when I met Daryl Garrettson, who's one of the greatest of all time. His son still referees in the NBA, Ron Garrettson.
Okay.
And so I stayed close to Daryl Garrison the whole time, and we ended up the dearest of friends, more than just basketball.
And you became the first Hispanic
Referee in the history of basketball, NBA. That's all they want to talk about. Yeah, I can't believe you got into Mexican. You ain't getting Mexican. It was ever Mexican this, Mexican that. And I'm laughing the whole time, and they're laughing the whole time. And when it all said and done, I said, Tommy, you did good. You're okay. So the next thing I know, I did 5 preseason games, and I enjoyed it. And I did it with some heavyweights. And at the end of the day, they called me up and said, Tommy, we're in the process of putting everything together, so stick with us, and we think we're going to be okay. So a year went by, and they said, okay, they called me up and said, Tommy, I want to invite you to New York. We got a 40-game contract. We're bringing you in on a 40-game contract. A 40-game, that's more than I made at Western Electric on the entire year.
Right.
He said, no, I'm going for 40 games, and ended up working about 45 games. You know, the bottom line is, I never was a bad guy. And the ones that I met with, you know, I thought, these guys are all crazy.
Yeah.
And so we kept talking, and the more I talked to them, I said, shit, they're crazier than me. And so the next thing I know, I signed a contract for the NBA, and I did 2 years of 4 and 4. Then I went big time, full time for the next 32, and I never left again. And then they hired me back to be a supervisor.
Yeah.
And all the players and the referees, they went crazy when they saw me come in as a supervisor. I said, there ain't no way, Tommy, you're going to do any supervising in this league. And I told them, I said, I'm going to tell you something right now. I can out-cuss every one of you guys, so shut up, leave me alone. And a lot of that stuff, you know, it's just good people.
Right.
But it's a fraternity that no one's like involved in it.
Right.
You're on your own, and I had teachers looking out for me that were great teachers, and they taught me everything about basketball. I think one of the most challenging games I had to ref was when I signed my first contract and went and headed for the East Coast. Now, I only been east one time in my life, and I had to do my first games were on the East Coast, and working with heavyweights. I'm talking about guys that I thought, these guys are legends.
Right.
And they brought me in, and you come in on a 2-game contract. Now it's 3, and so they brought me in for 2 games, and they flat out told me, went to school, and they said, Tommy, we got you covered. The referees, they all got you covered. And they babysat me my first year in the NBA, and they let me referee. They let me referee, which I didn't think they would. They'd just come out and be somebody from when I was doing high school and junior college ball. And all of a sudden, like, I'm ready I think I'm a legend, man. And I'm just starting. I got pretty good at it, but I was never as good as some of the guys that broke me in that were legends. They were that good. And they'd bring me in and say, blah, 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 blah. And don't worry about a thing, Tommy. We got you covered. We got you covered. Next thing I know, they told me one time in the game, you know, Tommy, we got a problem. You think you're a legend already, man. We're trying to tone you down a little bit. Now you're ready to say you want the playoffs now. I said, no, I'm just kidding, man. And so that's the next thing I know. I did 23 years of playoff games. I did only one final that whole time because the guys ahead of me, they were too damn good, man. They were outstanding.
But you refed with like Jordan and all them.
From day one.
Yeah.
I did his whole career.
Wow.
Larry Bird, whole career. All the ones that you can name them all. Did you go in the room?
Yeah, we saw.
And all those people, they all treated me good, man. But when the ball went up, like another world. Nothing mattered anymore except your survival. Give the best you can, and they don't want to hear nothing.
Exactly.
They don't. All I know is, wait a minute, you did this to me last time. I said, damn, that was a month ago.
Right.
They don't remember. They don't forget nothing.
No, that's good.
And I'll be the same way. But what I learned from other referees, from referees that were legendary, among the greatest, Mindy Rudolph, you might remember that name, is the greatest referee that ever refereed basketball in history, Mindy Rudolph. And he's the one that brought me in, him and Daryl Garrettson. And when I met Mindy, first thing out of Mindy said, okay, I heard all about you, Mexican. Let's see what we can do with you. And that's how it started, man. And I ended up with Mindy Rudolph. I worked about 6 to 7 games with him early in my career. And he even told me, Tommy, you need to tone it down a little bit. You think you're ready for the playoffs already. I said, wait a minute, I'm okay.
Right.
And that's just the way they treated you, man.
Yeah, man.
And the players, I never had much of a interaction with players except during the game. And players, how some of them are. Some are great guys, some are whatever, some whatever. They're all different personalities, man.
Right.
And you know what? I finally decided they're playing for money.
Yeah.
They're not playing for sportsmanship trophies. They want to win. And they don't care how they win, and that's what they do. And they're good at it. And when I started my years of supervising, the players, they couldn't believe it. You are going to be a supervisor now.
Right.
Tommy, please. You had enough trouble with us. Basketball players are good people. People that work in management are good people. I never met people, maybe a handful that I didn't like, but those that didn't like me or I didn't like them, they didn't like nobody anyway. It wasn't like you're one of one. It's a handful.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade my days in the NBA for anything in the world. We got to travel the world. My wife been all over the world, basketball. We did clinics in Spain, Mexico, across the country in the off season. We didn't know where we were going next. And there we go again somewhere. I think when you're not, and I'm not bragging, but I think when you're a decent guy, people will do anything for you.
For sure.
If you want to be a jerk, then be a jerk, but you're just going to get the minimum. While I was reffing, I was doing leagues around town, Mexican leagues in the inner city. The blacks and the Mexicans and everybody, okay, but it was the parks was a Mexican park, and Mexican and blacks, and that's where I was weaned with these guys and most of the players were black, and that's where I got weaned, and that's where I was taught how to referee with my cousin, who was one of the top dog referees, but he was married and had a family, and he said, Tommy, he's the best I ever saw. And he had a family and the whole bit. He ended up, he was head coach at Girard High School for years. For years at Girard, and he was a firefighter for years. And then so when I started reffing, he hooked me up and said, come on, Tommy, we're going to take care of you. And so he refereed a lot of games with me, and he taught me everything, Johnny Jr.
And how long have you been doing the tournaments?
The clinic, 40 years.
Wow.
For 40 years, and all my kids are running it now, and I still go, and we're up to 35 teams. To me, it was a joy at the time of my life. And all our kids, they all refereed, local referees, referees come in from all over and hang out, and I had a hell of a run, man. I really did. I think that the favorites were when I made it to the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I'd
and
imagine.
and got into the working playoff games.
Yeah.
And back in the day when you started and you get a playoff game, you look like a cup of tea. I'll give you 5 games, Tommy, go away. 3 games, 5 games, 4 games.
Yeah.
But I'm in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's all I knew.
That's all you know.
And I was going to be going to watch games wherever I wanted to.
Right.
So I did 4 or 5 my preseason, and then when I went big time and got the regular games,
Yeah.
and then I got the playoff games, and I worked 4 or 5, and the referees would all know this is one of Tommy's first games. Don't let him get in trouble now.
Right.
Don't let him get in trouble now.
Right.
Don't let him get in trouble. So they were always there to protect me.
Yeah.
And then as time would have it, I started doing full-time playoffs.
Yeah.
From start to the. I only did 2 finals in all those 30 years, but I did playoff games 12, 13, 14 every year. I always had my share. But whenever I did Phoenix games,
Yeah.
I loved it.
Oh, for sure.
But it was very difficult. I had a ton of friends. Everybody knew me because this is where I grew up at.
And they don't want you to be biased.
Oh my
you know?
God.
Yeah.
My first trip back east, I had 4 games in New York, Boston. My first go around with 2 heavyweight referees because it was 2-man system back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember the 2-man system? Then 3. So I went. The first games were in New York and back east and Boston, and I'm thinking, God damn, I don't even belong here, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking around, yeah, and you start looking around at all the awards. And when I went into Boston Garden, I thought, man, this is a Taj Mahal. I said, man, my high school gym looks better than this.
Right.
And that was their atmosphere.
Yeah, of course.
And so when I went in the first time for a game, and there I was in Boston Garden, and I'm thinking, and it's 2-man system. I said, oh my God, I want to go home. Then the ball goes up, and you forget. Oh, yeah. Well, I grew up around my family, my same friends. Everything was always the same people where I lived. And then we started meeting people away from the action, and the people that were in basketball big time for life were regular, good people and would do nothing in the world for you. They take me on trips. Man, we've been places I never thought I'd get, and mostly because of basketball and basketball people.
Yeah.
And basketball referees are really good people.
Yeah.
And when the ball goes up, it's a little bit different, obviously. You know that.
Right.
But they're the best people I ever met in my life. And then we started doing the other things with them, working with kids, doing stuff with kids, raising money for kids. We did a lot of stuff with kids.
Yeah.
And that was we had the opportunity, we knew the people, we knew the people that had money, we knew the people who want to help kids. And I said, you know what? All we got to do is tell them, what do you want, Tommy? I said, blah, blah, blah. Come by the office, tell me what you need. And this went on my whole career, helping kids. Well, I would acknowledge first Daryl Garrison, who opened up the door for me. Okay, and John Nucatola was my first supervisor of referees from New York, and he couldn't do enough for me. And then the referees I met, and mostly from the East Coast, of course.
Right.
You knew at one time, mostly was East Coast anyway. And the people that I met through basketball and what they did for me as a person, and for my family and my wife Mary Ann and the people we met. There's no way you can replace any of that. It came, and we still see everybody, but what's interesting, I've outlived most of them.
Wow.
They're gone. They're gone, man. And they when I came in, I was only 30 years old, and the other one was already. And so the good thing was they were always good people. and we were able to open up a lot of doors for a lot of people. We got a lot of referees started just working preliminary ball somewhere and making a living at preliminary ball, high school ball, junior college ball. I traveled the state of Arizona for 10 years. I was everywhere. And you know, for $50 a game, $30 a game, shit, that was big money. Anyway, that's basically me, and what you guys do is really awesome. I mean, I've been around it a couple of times. You guys are good, man. And you know what? I always knew that I've done this maybe 5, 6 times. You know what? It's always good.
Yeah.
It's always good. Thank you. I mean that, you guys. Really. If I can do everything for you, let me know, man. Anything.
And there you have it. Man, thank you so much, Mr. Nunez, for being a part of the show. This was truly an honor and a treat. Nothing but respect to you. I was happy that we were able to have my mother attend the interview because she was explaining to me when she was growing up. Did a lot for her, did a lot for the community in general. And like I said, just nothing but respect to you. And I wish you nothing but continued success and blessings in your life. And thank you again for being a part of this history that we are creating here. All right. Make sure you guys check out his website. And shout out to my brother Jimmy Nelson on the camera. Make sure you guys subscribe to that YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. All right. Well, this was definitely one for the books. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Until next time, stay tuned, stay blessed, stay healthy, and just give me 5, y'all.
Everything you get, you got to work hard. I had to